Hi guys, tonight I'm with Yoon His from the band Oranssi Pazuzu. Is it correct?
Yep, nicely
Wonderful.
pronounced.
Welcome to another dimension with this sixth album that's going to be out next month on Nuclear Blast. It's yeah, I was in my mind listening to this album. It could be a soundtrack for a David Lynch movie, right?
Yeah, for sure. The kind of soundtracky vibe is, I think, there. Always has been there, but maybe on this album, it's a bit more soundscapey, even than before. And it's also quite immersive to me, at least. And like the atmosphere is immediately there, kind of taking your attention when it begins. At least that's what we try to do with the album. Um, I'm not so sure. Like for me, all the kind of devil movies and all that is not really kind of the kind of scary that we are after. I think it's more for us. It's more like your inside your mind, and all the like the existential stuff is what is like this non-personal uh, scary stuff is more like what it's for us, like that whole thing, rather than some devil or anything like that, or even any ghost horror or anything like that. So
No,
we
no,
kind of
it's more.
turn towards inside on that horror.
I feel I don't feel an horror movie or horror feeling. I feel more deep inside, yeah, and strange feeling. I would say. How can you write such a music? Do you write together in a room or in studio, or because it's so very particular music?
Yeah, I think first when we started this band, we kind of had this quite strong dogma that we wanted to just use studio for capturing live music, that we played everything live except vocals maybe, and like we just use studio for, you know let's put mics and record band playing live, and we made the songs ready for that. But I think like the further we've gone, and the more albums we've done, we've went more for this kind of sculpture, that we want to do a sculpture from the sound. And on this album especially, I think we used the studio almost like an instrument, that we still recorded all the band stuff playing together at the same time in the studio and recorded that. But then we mutilated the sound like after that quite a lot, and kind of tried to make these mental images from the noise and construct the noise like more into detail. And yeah, I think this is our most like studio detailed work so far. And we kind of used almost our own band as a sample source. We had like quite a lot of electronic music influences, like when it comes to building the music. And how we used our own instruments as well is like we had no rules on what we could do in the studio and how to manipulate the sound. And I would call it mutilating the sound almost. So like to make it to make the mental images, at least for us, the strongest possible, and kind of hopefully for the listener as well, to have their imagination kind of flowing when listening to this stuff, and feel quite kind of submerged to the sound. And yeah, I think that's the biggest change we've kind of went from the first album to this album, to kind of lose the dogma of just capturing the sound, but you know, use the studio more and more creatively. I would say.
Okay. So you like to, and by the way, there is a song called Muuntautuja,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
means
Also the album name. Yeah,
metamorph, right?
yeah. It's like metamorphosis or like shapeshifter. It's like those kind of two words are pretty near to that. Yeah.
So metamorph. it's like a creature that can change his physical appearance, or
Yeah,
it could
yeah, that's
be,
that.
is it the nature, or it could be the bad guy, the bad robot in Terminator 2, or it could be an insect, or it
Yeah,
could
I
be
think
your music.
yeah, it's I think it's uh our bass player Onto did those lyrics. One of the first lyrics he did for the album was that song's lyrics, and it immediately felt like it should be the album title as well. And I think it kind of describes our band, that we always make a shift, at least try to make a shift for the next album, and kind of in search for a new form for our creature, our band's creature. And also like I think it describes this album making these kind of shapes from the noise that kind of dissolve into sand, almost like black sand or something like that, and then forming back together like to make a new like creature, and then disappearing again. Yeah, and then you're never sure if you actually saw the creature or not, or if you saw just shapes of something like that. So we kind of want to make sound experiments out of these visual ideas, and also the shapeshifter or metamorphosis kind of works for that, and it's also theme for some of the lyrics for Muuntautuja song, and also for I think Ikikäärme song, which is the second to last song on the album. So it kind of plays around with this theme quite a bit.
Mhm. So you write in Finnish, right? Finnish,
Yes,
Finnish
that's true.
language. There is a specific language, in Finland. How does it inspire your
Um,
music?
yeah, it's of course hard for me to kind of dissect, because it's the language I learned how to speak when I learned how to speak anything. So the first language I learned. But yeah, Finnish language has these like really long words, so we don't use so much words like the, a, or to, or with, or anything like that. But they all kind of become what combination with the original word. So that makes it weird a bit. And also there's a lot of vowels. So like it's like this. So like sometimes it feels quite kind of interesting to shout those, because I do these growling vocals. It feels like I need to use more force for the Finnish than English. I've tried English as well with the kind of growling, but it feels good to put more energy behind the words in Finnish language. Also, I think the reason why we want to do it in Finnish is we just understand Finnish in multiple levels better than English. I mean, like I can speak English pretty okay, and Tony can as well, the lyricist, but I think we can think better in Finnish, and that means basically that I think I can build the atmosphere better when using mother language rather than English. So, and for us, the atmosphere is the most important thing in our music. So, I think that kind of sets the importance level of that, should it be in English or Finnish. And we've always felt that Finnish is the right language for us to do this.
You live in Tampere.
Yeah,
It is said that Tampere, and I was in Tampere this in April. It's considered like Manchester in England.
that's
Um,
what they call it. Yeah.
yeah. So I was wondering if you are inspired by the city. Most of the Finnish guys that I interview, if you take Amorphis, Winterson, um, they are more, yeah, quite inspired by nature. Are you inspired by in your, I would say, industrial or keyboards inspire music by the city in itself?
I think like not necessarily the city, but I think like I'm somewhat, at least myself, inspired by the long winters in Finland, because that's the kind of time that you don't necessarily see so many people because it's a fucking shitty weather and dark all the time. So like then you kind of turn inwards a
Yeah.
bit and look things and think things from outside. Like you look at people doing their things and maybe being a bit more silent than in the summer. I kind of like this being a bit of an outsider looking at what people do. So I think Finland is during the winter it's a weird country to do that, but then it kind of inspires you to write a bit. It's really difficult to say about the nature thing, like how much it's because you've lived in Finland all of your life. So, but I would say that something about this solidarity, that there's not so many people in Finland, and you can really actually get away like to nature. That there's no literally no one near there anywhere, and you know, I like this feeling that you can kind of make an escape. So I would say that for me, that's kind of a big influence on on the Finnish mentality, or. But I don't know so much about any city. I don't really maybe care so much.
Okay, and you're right. In the summer, it could be introspective 6 months, maybe.
Yeah, it's cathartic when the summer comes. I rarely write anything during summers. I do other stuff then.
It's interesting, you know. And so, yeah, you go out maybe more often, from April to October, right?
Yeah, something or maybe September, like. But yeah, it's like you usually do other stuff, and then it feels perfect to kind of start forming musical ideas and art when it's winter, and you know it feels good to be outside because you can't do that all the time, and it's very light as well all the time, so you kind of stay up more, and yeah, I think it's a bit of a cliche, but it is cathartic for me at least.
Okay. Um, I was wondering, you did you record everything by yourself on this album, or in the mix and the mastering?
No, it's like we did this with Julius Mauranen, who's done also a couple of the previous albums, and we kind of felt that it's good to continue with him because he has weirdly good like sensitiveness to what we're doing, and he kind of knows how to push things even further than like from our initial idea. So he did most of the recording. We did some recording ourselves at home because we kind of did some overdubs quite a bit, but then Julius mixed it again. And yeah, it's funny because Julius doesn't do metal music at all. This is the only kind of heavier thing he does. But maybe I think that is a reason why he has sensitiveness to what we do, because he's into noise pop and shoegaze pop and all that stuff. So he knows what we're doing, but doesn't use any, let's say, metal cliches in his mix or anything like that. So it's been really good relationship with him for I think, like, if we count one side project, is like 4 albums now with him. So
Okay. There is a huge tour this fall, I think, with Solstafir, right?
yeah, we're doing a tour in November, December with them.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it
it's
will
right
be
after
winter.
release of the album, or quite soon after release of the album. So that's nice.
Great. What to expect on stage if you if guys they go to see your show, and what to expect from you?
Uh, I think we're gonna, like, we usually always concentrate quite a bit if we have new stuff on the new stuff, and this is gonna be as well now. So I hope it's gonna be intense and immersive atmosphere that we try to get on the stage always, and then we hopefully it will spread. When we get the atmosphere, then the atmosphere will spread and hopefully be at the same time hypnotic, but also like hopefully it will awake your imagination and be visual experience. Also, like of course, seeing a band, but also inside your head. That hopefully there will be a transformation also in a listener of our music record or live. So that's what we try to achieve.
Anything you want to do with this new album? Any tour next year outside Europe?
Hopefully, but it's a bit tricky to go to US nowadays. It's quite expensive hassle, that one. We have to see about that, but I think we're gonna do quite a bit of shows, at least for our band. We always like we try to keep the show amount like so that we are on our toes on every show, so that we are not bored ourselves to play the set or the songs. So I think it's really important that for the intensity of the band that there aren't too many shows. But I think we're gonna do for our band quite many shows on the for this album. So yeah, expecting a lot of shows for next year as well.
Great, and maybe festivals.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you already played in Alfest, right, in France?
It's a great. I think it's the best bigger metal festival that I've been to. Like, it's I don't know, very hot usually, but very
most of the time.
Very, most of the time, yeah, but very I don't know. I like the lineups. There are, always, if you don't want to see any big bands, you can go and see like the underground bands only if you want. So I like those sorts of festivals, and the area is kind of very corny but very cool at the same time. I like it. It's my favorite big metal festival for sure.
Yeah, a lot of artists that like this festival because of the mood and the way the artists are treated. Is great.
Yeah, it's super cool festival, I think.
Well, thank you very much. See you in Paris.
Yeah, thank you.
In November or December.
Paris. That's cool. Yeah.
And congrats for this new album.
Thank
you. You have to listen to this album with your headphones after all.
Yeah, you have to sink into it for sure.
Yeah, and dive into this a new dimension, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much. Kitos.
Thank you very much.
Kitos. À bientôt. Bye bye. Thank you.